welcome everyone to Let's Talk. It's new the old show that I had going on before. We're changing it up, and we're actually going to just start talking about all different TCGs, all different topics, all different video games. And I thought, what better way to start the inaugural stream of this than to actually introduce. Well, first off, my name is Turmentic, but you all probably know that. But I want to introduce my friend. I've known him for probably about maybe a year and a half, 2 years now. We've talked about tons of different stuff. But I'd like to introduce you to my friend Eric Cuevas, also known as TheMajorNerd. Everybody, give it up. Give it up.
Hey, what's going on? Hello, everybody.
But yeah, I had been trying to figure out exactly, because I really enjoyed doing these live streams all last year, and I've been trying to figure out how to actually move forward with them. Now that specifically MetaZoo is no longer with us. And I got the idea actually to just take the Let's Talk part of it and then focus on other TCGs. There are tons of other Kickstarter TCGs, pre-Kickstarter TCGs, indie video games, all sorts of stuff that can be highlighted that we can bring people on. And your project, Eric, or MajorNerd, I don't know what you want me to call you, but
whichever,
either. I'm really excited about, because it is something that it gives back to the community that creates the actual content creator. And to begin with, it's all secular, and I love the whole concept of how your game Evornet is all about content creators, and not just big ones, small ones as well too. And it's just, I'm gonna let you talk for a minute. I talk too much. I'm sorry.
No, please, quite all right. Listen, I love a good introduction. Scrub the ego all you want. It's fine by me. Yeah, so for the past 4 years, I've kind of spent my time making videos. Of course, right after COVID, everyone's indoors. I've been making YouTube videos for a few years prior, but I really kind of was like, all right, this is what I'm doing. I started making TikTok videos, voice acting impressions, whether it be Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared, or the Glub Gab Lab, random internet brain rot memes that apparently had gone viral in the past, also made me go viral. So after accumulating over 2 million followers and about 3 years of doing this nonstop, I mean, I was the major nerd. So I'm always finding ways of trying to take my content and educating others, or trying to show people what I enjoy, what makes me a nerd. And one of those things was trading card games. So I would make videos of me going to Collecticon, me showing MetaZoo collaborations, or me opening up packs, doing first world ever things that no other TCGs or fans of TCGs had done before, trying to hype them up. And for the longest time, I was like, you know what? I feel like I'm a big enough content creator. I might be able to work out a collaboration or something along those lines. And there was. At one point, I was invited to go to Comic-Con with MetaZoo, and I was able to make videos and TikToks and promote. At the time, I don't think it was Wilderness, and it wasn't the Kuromi set. UFO. It was UFO. I remember. Yeah. Yes, because I love the fact that there was foil sent to space. I just thought that was the coolest thing. And I think there was one specific time where I realized that maybe all the opportunities that were given to the content creators in that space were not the same. And I was like, okay, that leaves me a little frustrated. I'm giving you views. I'm giving you content. I want to make sure that we're doing something here that not pay me. It doesn't have to be payment, but like bring me into the fold so that I can be a part of this and help make this an even bigger game, because I believe in it so much. I love the idea of fourth wall breaking effects. I thought the whole thing was cool. A few weeks go by, months go by. Other content creators are now, and fantastic ones, by the way. There's no hate or jealousy or anything like that. Other ones are getting these kind of premier spots to do streams or big announcements, whatever the case is. And I go to sleep one night, and I remember having the stream because I wrote it down the moment I woke up. I was like just in a ring, a massive like arena, I think Rome. And all of a sudden, all these content creators that I had been mutuals with over the course of the 4 years that I've come to collaborate with, to know, we're all just standing there with their fists up at me. And it's like, no, I'm going to get
like
the
Super Smash style.
Yeah, it's exactly that. Just like ready to brawl. And I'm thinking to myself, like, all right, so this is what it's about. Like content creators, we're always, a lot of them egocentric, want the biggest opportunity, the most clout, the most views. But I think there's a really good aspect of content creation, the education, the inspiration, the hope that we can give for coming together as a community and celebrating what it is to be a community. And so I had the dream of, all the content creators and me just squaring off. And I woke up and I looked at the cards that were right next to my bed, because I was, of course, sorting cards before I went to sleep. And I thought, oh, what if every single card was a creator? What if the whole game is a collaboration? What if the entire point of the trading card game is to celebrate the creators that made the internet and generated these fans and these amazing communities and made it about them? So for about a year and a half after that point, I was working on index cards and just by myself in this room and in other spots making a game, thinking of all the different content creators from all different genres of content that I could include. Because the more I started working on this, I was getting more and more hyped by myself, not having told a single person about what my intent was. Because I thought about it. I'm like, think of your other favorite trading card games. If I asked you to name me 10 Magic cards, monsters, beasts, or Yu-Gi-Oh, or One Piece, whatever the trading card game was, you might be able to tell me 10, or even if you're an avid fan, 15 or 20. But how many actual, how many of the actual general mass may know of those cards? Maybe
true.
Much.
That's true. Yeah.
So
everybody would be able to name 2 Pokemon, Pikachu and Charizard. But
exactly. And then some fans of Pokemon would be able to name you all 150, or maybe even the first 500 if they're really going off on it.
But the average person would be those 2, and that's it.
Exactly right. So, but if I asked you who your favorite content creator was right now, you could probably name me 3 or 4 that you actively watch and enjoy their content of. So you take that person, you put them in the game, you create amazing artwork, you make what they do on the internet converted into a playable effect, and then we just let it loose and we play test it into the ground. We, of course, get permissions. That's been a whole nother thing, is getting copyright permissions and commercial permissions to sell an artwork of a creator. It's not just commissioning the artwork, it's also commissioning the intellectual property rights to have a creator on a card.
Them and everything.
Exactly right. Yeah. So it's almost like double the cost, because it's not just artwork, it's the artwork and the rights.
That makes sense.
But then once those cards are made, once the whole process is done with, from start to finish of getting a creator on board to a card made, I can now be like, hey, would you like to sign some of these? And then I get to take them and put them into packs. Because then maybe your favorite content creator is included in this pack. And if it's not in this set, it'll be in the next set or the one after that. As we grow, we want to add other content creators from different genres, maybe people who don't know about us yet. As we grow, we build the empire, whatever you want to call it. And then you can have a signed collectible of your favorite person. I mean, I would love to tell you that I have names like Markiplier and Jacksepticeye and Kai Cenat, but those are, I feel like, stepping stones that are going to take us to the goal of just, once again, having everyone included. And it's not just gigantic names like Mr. Beast or, large TikTokers that you may know of, or YouTubers. It's to celebrate the community that makes the card games amazing and the people that love playing tabletops together. So you're going to see a large nerd representation in the game as well. People who like making content about all sorts of things.
Okay, so before we jump into the nitty gritty, actually, game, tell me a little bit about yourself. What were you kind of into when you were growing up? Like you said, you were always kind of a nerd. What kind of TCGs were you kind of into? What kind of games and stuff did you actually play as a kid?
So there were 3 main ones that I played nonstop: Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, and I played the pants off of Beyblades. I know that's not a tabletop game, but I'm going to call it one because you play it on a table.
No, I'll count it. It counts. Beyblade counts. Some of those are brutal too.
Show. Oh yeah. And I have a twin brother, and he and I just all the time would be either playing Pokemon together, Yu-Gi-Oh, or Beyblades. And then also evolved into
the arena and everything too.
The plastic arena. We got a hard one that was like resin printed for Christmas one time, because I was just like, I need one that won't break, Dad. And eventually got one. So.
That's amazing. You said that you started actually creating content and stuff during the pandemic. Did you do anything before really the pandemic?
Yeah, absolutely. So I had started making a YouTube account where I would do vlogs of my adventures, whether it be me going on a hike talking about an episode of The Walking Dead, or if I was making a video of me going to Comic-Con for the first time and showing people what that experience was like. I was really into kind of sharing my own personal journey as to the 12 people that were watching at the time, just what I was going through and what that was like. And I didn't really see any growth on YouTube until after TikTok had already exploded and I was getting consistently, tens of thousands of views.
Do you remember what the first video on TikTok was that kind of blew up?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. The video was just me going up to the camera saying, I bet you know my voice, but you don't know my face. And I'll explain why. And then I would just go up to the microphone and just do an impression of, thank you for calling. The party you've reached is currently unavailable. If you know your party's extension, please press 1. Jeez, I can't even talk now. Agua. And yeah, so that slight video of me just being because I did that for college. I was doing, just recordings for nurse's office and stuff like that. And just random little like paid cameos that I was getting my way. And that's pretty much how I started.
The one video of yours that always comes to mind is the oh god, I can't even say
I'll let you try and say it. No, I'll give you a moment.
It's the tongue twister. I don't even know how to even
the glub glub gab galab.
That. Yeah. Oh my god. I sat there one night listening to it over and over trying to do it, and I was just like, nope, okay, we're done. We're not doing this anymore.
Yeah. That I never expected a video like that to go as viral as it did. I think the main one
video everywhere, my dude.
Yeah, it got plastered during the COVID era, and it wasn't just like a one-hit wonder. Although that was definitely one of the biggest hits I've had. It is the largest viewed video I had. It garnered that video really? Alone. That video alone netted me over 500,000 followers.
Wow.
Yeah, so half a million.
Insane.
And it happened within about a week. So I went from like 16,000 because there were, like I said, there were a few videos prior that like did okay, a few 100,000, but that video is now sitting, I think, like 23 or 26 million with a few million likes, and yeah, it's still getting likes. Like if I were to open up my notifications, it's still being liked and pushed.
And that's only the count that's on TikTok. That doesn't count it being viewed or being posted on Facebook or Instagram. Or
YouTube,
anything.
All that
I've
stuff.
seen it on like all of the different platforms. It's the one big video I've seen everywhere, like multiple times now.
Yeah,
and of course I have to sit there and I listen to it every single time I see it. It's just one of those things.
I you know what? It's something that's like, do you regret ever making that video? It's like, no, I would not be here right now if it wasn't for that silly rhyme. Thank you, David Hutter, who created Strensky and the Mysterious House. That's where kind of the meme originated from. But yeah, that's kind of how I got my start, was finding a niche viral trend or meme and then doing the best impression that I could.
It's the voice. Yeah, it's your voice for sure, my guy.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
And that was one of the things I was really kind of super bummed about, is that I was in my head, in my dreams, I was stoked to be able to actually potentially have worked on the MetaZoo show with you.
I know.
That, like, because you and I, we talked about it a bunch actually, and I was so.
There's videos on my YouTube channel of me having done the narration of the first chapter of the MetaZoo story.
I saw that today. I was going through your YouTube channel and I actually saw that video and I listened to it. And I was like, oh, that injured.
I was ready.
By the way, it was
Appreciate
spectacular.
It. And that's the thing. I was ready to go. Like I was full hands on deck. I was like, hey, if I'm going to use my talents in any sort of trading card game, let me put it towards one that I'm, really thankful that exists and I think piques my interest. And then once again, when those opportunities, or when it didn't necessarily go my way, I wasn't so much bitter as I was like, all right, I want to make this happen still. And if it's not going to be through you, I'm going to do it. And that was kind of after that, a little epiphany that I had. So yeah, it's so funny.
And I had to just drove you a little bit more into Evernet.
Yeah, and that's when I picked up the pencil and just started writing on index cards, cutting them out, and just starting including all the different creators. I know it's bad. This one's Pinball Wizard.
Oh no, you can. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
so these are just sketches then, pretty much.
Sketches. I would just sketch on these I spent maybe about 4 or 5 hours on each deck, at least 30 minutes on each card, just doodling away. Because what I thought would be, an epic game. I was like, I want to put love and care into these and just make sure I hold on to them, because you never know if someone might want them, and cherish it as like the whole point of Evernet is, in an age where the internet is filled with a lot of hate, a lot of discourse, a lot of opinions, I think there should be a middle ground where we can celebrate the good that the internet provides, and we can provide inspiration to future content creators who want to share a part of themselves with everyone else. I think there's a right way of doing that. I think there's an awesome message that we can share about positivity and unity and community. And I want Evernet to represent, like, to a younger audience, what it means to look and view at the internet forever. Evernet.
Yeah, well, I like the idea of being able to use your favorite content creator actually in battle. I don't even know if it's really a battle or whatever you call the combat system actually when you play the game.
Yeah.
But I like that idea of being able to use your favorite one, and each one, because you and I were talking about this actually before we went live.
Yeah.
How each one can have its own set of rules and quote unquote universe based off of what their channel and the card, not even channel, but just whatever type of content they make. Because I know when people think content creators, for the most part, they honestly think of YouTube and maybe TikTok, to be honest with you now.
And I'd say maybe like Instagram models and like Kick streamers. There's a little.
I have a buddy who actually is on Facebook, and he makes money each month from Facebook, just literally sharing memes and funny jokes and funny videos and stuff like that. I mean, he doesn't himself like make a video or anything like that, but so it kind of opens up
content.
Exactly, it opens up the entire idea of, okay, what really defines a content creator? What makes someone a content creator? Do they have to actually literally create that content? What about all of the people that their stuff is literally nothing but reaction videos? Are they content creators? Now, some of them I'd probably say no. There are some though that are like on point that started that trend. Yeah. So I feel like I like the whole idea of Evernet, because it opens up the idea of who, like you said, contributes to the internet to make a broader sense almost. Yeah. Because again, most everybody, when you say content creator, they're focused on specifically YouTube. And I would count TikTok in that now, just because of how big that platform is. Because that platform is bigger than, God, almost anything but YouTube, I think, at this point, right?
Fingers crossed it stays, right? I
mean, I don't, without getting into the whole political side of it, I don't fully understand why they want to get rid of it without it actually being a political thing. Yeah. When there are checks and balances that are actually involved with the TikTok app that should protect everybody's interests. And there's nothing, I'm fearful that if they actually succeed with going after TikTok, that opens them up to being able to do not the same thing because they're US based, but to do something similar to any social media platform. Yeah. Which there should be some regulation that should be put in there, but at the same time though, you can't like shut them down, and that's in essence what I feel some of the end goal is. But we're not going to get into politics. This isn't Let's Talk Politics. This is Let's Talk.
No. And listen, there's a real good reason of why I think I've been putting gasoline on the fire of Evernet more recently than not. We're getting closer to the release. We're getting closer to starting to publicly discuss it more. And once again, we don't have products that are available yet because the products are behind me. I'm accumulating them in mass. There are certain beliefs and there are certain business tactics that I'm going to follow to ensure this is a hit success. Because just like the trading card games that we love and we've played before, there are lessons that we can learn. Some from when I was a kid and some that I've learned more recently. One of them being, of course, I want to make sure that I have every product, every piece, every card on hand before I ever throw them up on a website that they might be for sale. That's just something that I'm, just out of morality and just for transparency with the audience and for the fans that are going to help make this happen. I think it's important that we hold ourselves financially accountable. And that starts with making sure that I'm not promising something that I can't deliver on.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I've been very realistic with where my time frames and having to shift goals, because all the money that I've been making on TikTok, there's only two places that it goes: to my family and then directly to Evernet. That's it. Like, I'm not going on vacations. I'm not buying cars or renting movies anytime soon. It's just these two things. The amount of sacrifice.
Because I know there might be some stuff that I ask him that he can't specifically touch on, and that was fine.
I'm an open book.
What is the timeline right now for the production, I guess, of it? Like, do you plan on doing like any sort of a Kickstarter? Is it going to be any sort of like that, or like what is the goal, or what is the process with that you have planned
It's
out?
a hybrid model, I would say. I think from right now, the short-term goal is to start creating adverts and promos that can start displaying the cards that we have illustrated and the cards that are ready to go, ready to be printed. Because I would like to start generating sample packs within the next 2 weeks or so, so that
Oh,
this way
wow.
I can have them. Yeah, because we have booster pack art, we have the logos, we have the cards pretty much essentially, sampled and play tested. We've been playtesting this in Tabletop Simulator for well over a year now. So it's been a process and iterations. And there's been different cards and different styles and versions that we've kind of tweaked over time to kind of make it look the right way. So from right now until, let's call it, late summer, the intention is generating content, generating more artwork, and just accumulating the value within the artwork for the content creators themselves.
I want to point this out too. You're talking about artwork. There is a link in the description of the video. Check out the Discord. There is an actual thread in the Discord that is like, if you want to do artwork for Evernet, or if you want to even do just fan art or whatnot like that, there's a list of cards that actually still need art or need the art modified, things like that. So if you want to help out 100%, like I said, check out the Discord link in the description. Join the Discord.
Thank you.
Because I was in there today just going through and reading, and like, there's people who are throwing up stuff, and there's like, oh, I want this one, I'm going to take this over here. I do want to take this time though to actually point out as well that you are not using any AI artwork in this at all too. This is all going to be true artwork.
Yeah, so of course for playtesting, and after I had my little hand-drawn cards, I needed to go to the next step and start digital renders of these cards and typing it in and using Illustrator to start pumping them out. But I didn't have the artwork, so I would just Google search and I would just find a temporary artwork that I could just visually identify with the card, so I can start getting a little bit more fluid with how the mechanics and how things would look. A visual representation for me is great, so that for me has also been a big focus. So just finding the right card art for temporary purposes did not matter. So you might even find a little Mario for the card save at the checkpoint, or you might find the guy from Doom or Duke Nukem somewhere on one of the cards, the internet troll, a meme cat. There's going to be so many memes and different internet quotes, I should say, that in reality there's going to be some cool artwork that are based off of the original image, but once again, nothing will be AI generated. Everything will be passing through human hands prior to.
You could use some of the original memes though, correct? Or are
Absolutely,
they actually copyrighted?
Some are. So like Grumpy Meme Cat, for instance, the owner of that is very litigious, let's say. And so there is a route that I would need to go if I wanted to legally use Grumpy Meme Cat as a card that I would make money off of. Where, if I can sell a pack with Grumpy Meme Cat in it, I need to have purchased the rights for Grumpy Meme Cat, or at least an image that I could sell of Grumpy Meme Cat.
Okay.
So, there's a few different routes that I can take. I can purchase as someone complete identity and just I have access to your entire content catalog and just start using that as promotion. Or I could buy and that's really expensive. I have not done that, and I will not do that. Or I can work on one specific artwork that can be used for card, merchandise, promotional efforts, etc. The whole thing.
The one meme that always popped in my head was the girl standing in front of the house on fire.
Oh yeah.
I know that like a year or two ago she actually sold the NFT for that for like an ungodly amount of money.
Yeah.
So like I didn't know if like that would actually prevent you from being able to use the image, or like I don't know. I'm very interested in that, because I didn't even think about you being able to use the original meme. I was always thinking that you'd have to recreate it somehow, but
this applies a kind of legal a funny legal area that we're in, right? Because damned if you do, damned if you don't. The reality is that I could still technically get away with an illustration of something very similar to it without mentioning the name or referring to what maybe the name of the meme is, and have full legal right to use that because it's just someone looking away from a fire. Technically, no one owns that, right? So if it's just a small child looking away from a fire, maybe it's a boy, maybe it's just someone different, maybe it's a character from our story just looking away from that in the exact same framing and style, then technically I can get away with it. So it's weird how we can take internet memes and convert them for Evernet purposes. So, for instance, Markiplier's meme, like with Lord Farquaad and his face imprinted on it.
Yeah.
I messaged the original owner of that meme who photoshopped the original image itself. His name is Sindago on Twitter. And technically, he doesn't own Shrek. He doesn't own Lord Farquaad. He doesn't own Markiplier. But I could have a render of someone with glasses, like a count with Lord Farquaad hair-esque, and have it just be called E. And that would legally stand up in court as my own work of art and not representing anything else. Right? So it's like, where do you draw the line?
Well, I guess so, like a good example would be like the Spider-Man meme where they're all pointing at each other. You couldn't recreate that even illustration-wise because that would be Spider-Man copyright.
Right. So I couldn't do it in the same art style. I couldn't have Spider-Man in the image, and I couldn't have anything Marvel related. But I could have 3 versions of me pointing at each other, one looking slightly different. And that maybe in that framing where it's kind of zoomed out and you see all 3 in one shot. So like, once again, it's how do you, with nuance, take famous internet memes and not only make them illustrated in a way that works for our purposes, but also makes them playable cards and has utility in a game that everyone's just trying to pump out content. And I think this is a good moment to kind of talk about how you play Evernet. What's the point of Evernet? What are the rules and the win conditions? So Evernet will be the first ever trading card game that actually takes content creators, influencers, and celebrities from all around the world and puts them head to head to see who can go viral. So you're building a team of your favorite people or content creators that you think fit your play style, and now playing them on a homepage to hopefully hit 1 million views before your rival does. So as opposed to a other TCG game, right? And so this is really cool. This is one of the playmats that we have generated. You can see where we have right next to my finger here, the creator kit. That's where your deck is going to be. When cards are deleted, they go into the trash bin, kind of like actual content. We have
oh my God, I love the terminology.
Oh yeah, no. So that is thoroughly integrated in here, because just like actual content on the internet, what do we do with this content? The content are the cards that you have in your hand. You play them on your homepage. And so you can see here the different sections on the homepage that you're going to be placing the different cards within the game. These playmats that you're seeing here are serialized. So we have actually only 10 versions of this. I currently have them, and a few other extra secret ones that are going to be hitting the live stream soon for giveaways, raffles, auctions, etc. Because I really want to make sure that we get these out to people. I'm not holding on to any of this stuff. It's going to go out. So with that, you start realizing that, like a real homepage, you have to be careful about what content you're posting. How does that affect your channel? And unlike a regular TCG, where you're trying to knock down someone's life total or their points to 0, the point of Evernet is to get to 1 million views. So there's a dynamic of almost like a race of who can place the best combos of creators, who can get the best integration, who can take 2 creators and have them collaborate so it makes an even better card that does an even better effect. So and this kind of goes back to the games that I played when I was a kid. There was something so fun about not knowing what my rival or my opponent was going to do, about maybe a surprise on the other end. And I feel like with content and content creators, I don't know what my favorite content creator is going to post, but I'm watching, I'm looking, I'm avidly still connected to them. And I wanted that mechanic to be present in the game. Private content and public content. Privately posted and publicly posted stuff. So there is face down, face up mechanics. And there is a more intense resource system than just having to play a card on the table that you have to wait for in your deck that gets you resource locked, or unable to get the cards out that you'd really like to. In my game, every card is a resource. So there's 5 main categories of content in my game, and they're represented by different colors. So with that, you have 5 different gems, which that's how our...
Oh, wait, I got that picture too.
Yeah. So this was one of the first original concepts of designing the card, where we wanted the placement of the gem, where we wanted the main information to go. So this was, I think, the 2nd or 3rd iteration where these were upgrades. So think of a program or some sort of device that would give you a boost mid-game. If you want to relate to this in Magic terms, it would be a instant
like an
spell,
enchantment,
or enchantment, a spell, anything along those lines. And then with Yu-Gi-Oh, you can call it like a magic or a spell card, whatever their term is. So it's meant to house different colors, do different things. The blue cards are for upgrades, but the gem will determine what category of content it belongs to. So this, as we started developing this system, came the structures and the fundamentals of how we were going to categorize content creators into this game, right? Because you might be a content creator that makes trading card content, but if you teach people about trading cards, are you an entertainment creator or are you an education creator? Where is that line drawn? So a system had to be made that, like, with ironclad definitions, could take someone and put them within the system and have their card generated. And then I work with the artist or the creator personally to kind of have what they feel like their content represents then turned into a playable effect.
That's super cool.
It's also why it's kind of taken a while. I mean, with me by myself and a few amazing Discord moderators, we've been going through lists of people and having one-on-one conversations of like, what do you think your card should do? Tales in Ardia, or Adventures in Ardia, they make a TikTok and YouTube series called Roll for Sandwich, where he just rolls a D20 and he puts random ingredients on a sandwich and eats it. So how do you turn that into a playable trading card? Well, I thought,
hilarious.
Do the exact same thing. Different random effects. Some are awful, like, discarding your hand or destroying a creator you have on the field, to things like getting cards into your hand and getting one back that may have been deleted already. So there's different ways of incorporating, like, word for word or effect for effect, what their ripple effect is on the internet versus what they'll actually do in game. And I think
so. There are actual ways for you to, I don't want to say sabotage your opponent, but to basically delete a video, or an asset, I guess.
Right.
There's ways to slow them down.
Absolutely. So okay. I want this to be known that we are trying to innovate what a standard trading card game is, right? Because when you think about the staples or the big three or whatever card games you focus on, there are certain mechanics and repeated motifs that are seen, whether it be the ability to draw a card from the top of your deck or even playing a resource down to play the cards from your hand. I drew inspiration from the games that made me so happy as a kid, because when I think about card games now, either effects are gone out the window, crazy, super complicated, or it's so overwhelming that a larger audience may not want to approach it because it just seems overwhelming. Yeah. So where was the perfect balance of incredibly fun and engaging so that you're not keeping your mind totally on, am I playing the rules right, or am I doing this correctly? And more so of, I know the system already because it's really easy to follow. Now let's have the most fun and get the most views that we can. Like other TCGs, you have the ability to attack another card, but there's a certain system of how that actually plays out and who would actually end up winning. But once again, the whole point is to reach 1 million views before your opponent. So maybe you don't want to spend your time attacking all of their creators. It may not be worth it. It may be worth it to more focus on yourself and the content that you're making and making the best decisions that would generate you the most views.
I was going to say, there seems like there are at least two really big ways of playing this game. Either one would be the way of being able to slowly get yourself up while sabotaging your opponent hardcore, or ignoring your opponent and just hitting into overdrive, trying to get there all the way up to 1 million views, like that. Like that's, I can see how there's a bunch of different ways of playing the game.
And different categories of content have different kind of play styles. And that's something I also wanted to focus on as well, is like, not every category of content is going to do the same thing. An entertaining video of someone failing and, smashing their face on pavement from a skateboard is not going to be the same as a TED Talk. It's not going to be the same as someone giving you a tutorial on how to fix your phone when it breaks. All those different representations need to exist technically. So I think especially... it starts.
What's the name of the channel? He does the tier lists, and does, like, for example, tier list. He could actually be something to where it actually is a bonus for an attacking whatever, because that's what. Dude,
I love it. I love that you look at a content creator and you're like, I could see what your card would do in real life, because I would love a card that would do this because of what your content is to me, or what it represents, or what its effect has had on, the fans. And that's another huge aspect, is that this game is not just creators and influencers and celebrities. We wouldn't be here without the support of the communities and the fans. So there's supporter cards, there's fan cards. So we have an amazing way of running challenges, of running art competitions, of running different ways of integrating the community into the cards themselves. Because where would a content creator be without the support from the people that built them up? So
you could have like themed tournaments actually too, where like you have to reach the 1 million views, but you only have X, Y, and Z options of being able to do it. Figure it out.
I just want you to remember that, like,
wow.
I consider myself a nobody. I'm a micro celebrity content creator. I consider 2 million relatively small in the eyes of like where the grand picture is for.
Bro, I got 1,400 on YouTube. Okay,
listen, that's a lot. Listen, more than me. I don't get 1,400 views on YouTube, so like to me, that's a big number to me. It's all about like different platforms represent different milestones and the different abilities to hit niche points of content. So YouTube is more longer form, more thought out, where TikTok is just hit them fast, hit them hard, entertain them, move on. And I think that plays a big difference, where I wanted to not just have someone who's just 2 million and up, you know, people who are above where I am, but it's the people who have active communities, because it's not about the number. It's about the people that have supported you to make this like, why do you make the content? It's because you want to share that with the people that might enjoy it with you.
Well, and I just want to point out too, because you're talking about that, it filled my heart so much, my dude, because I love this man with all my heart. When Demon Fergus actually Antonio showed the artwork that Kelsey Giacchino did for him for the game, and like I'm so excited that he is represented in this game. I will be playing a Demon Fergus deck. I will tell you that right now.
You gotta play the Turmentic card. Come on, what? Gotta play the Turmentic card.
Well, that's fair. That's fair. But I love, and that's something we talked about before too. I love that you are not only going after these bigger content creators like Markiplier and Jimmy Mr. Beast and things like that. Like you're actually incorporating like the smaller content creators, the ones that might not have a huge audience, but you can still tell how they have just as much passion as somebody that has 15 million subs.
Yeah. I don't think
thousands of smaller content creators on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, what have you, that make amazing content that can rival these people that get millions of views a day. And and again, like all it takes is that one video of somebody seeing it and it being shared in the right spot, and then boom, all of their other content explodes too.
And what if now there's a card that might be that one thing that gets a creator to get one new fan? Imagine you open up a pack and you're like, I don't know what this creator is, but there's a QR code on the card that I can scan that takes me directly to their socials.
Are you serious?
It acts as a marketing spot for each creator to then share with their audience what they do, right? Because it's content, just like a piece of video or something. If you get a card of that person, it should point you in the direction of who they are, right? Because you might not know what their content is or what they're about, but I don't think every niche category of the internet will have a major, massive following. Like, I don't think the Beyblade community is in the billions right now, but there's still an active following there, where there's an active following in TCGs, in video games. The size isn't necessarily the important part. The part is that they love it. And that's what I want to include. Those communities that people are super passionate about, that they want to see celebrated in a game where the internet is celebrated. And then from that, it just leads me to one super key. It makes me excited when I think about it, that in 2023, collectible sports cards, baseball, hockey, whatever the case was $2.3 billion of an industry. And I'm not here to just say, like flashy words, give you like trigger words and make you think, whoa, that's crazy. But I have more followers than the New York Mets currently. I do. And I'm a no one. I have more followers than the New York Mets. So technically, I have an advertising platform that could
you have more reach than you technically on that platform.
I mean, they have resources. They have longevity. But now let's take other creators. Let's take people like Christy Carlson Romano, who played Cadet Kelly, Kim Possible, even Stevens. Let's take Rob Paulson, who played Carl Weezer. Let's take Thomas Sanders, who was the Vine God back in the day. Let's take Mr. Hamilton from TikTok. Other amazing stars that represent different aspects of different communities. if you put all those followers together, if you just like starting to add them up,
yeah,
the amount of reach that the number of people who know about these creators starts going into the tens of millions. And so now it's like there's built-in marketing integration. If you resonate with a creator that may be featured in this game. So if you're hearing about this right now and you know of a content creator, or you are a content creator and you want to be represented in Evernet, drop me a line. You can find me at TheMajorNerd pretty much everywhere, because the point is I want to include everyone. And we may not be able to get everyone in one
in
set.
the description: Instagram, YouTube, Discord, all that too. So if you want to connect with Eric at all, definitely look in the description.
I look forward to it. The name of the first set that we're releasing is called Creator Wars.
And I want to point this out because I don't know if we ever answered this. Mike from TCG Island had a really good question. Is this going to be a Kickstarter game?
Yeah, I tried mentioning before. I think I got sidetracked by myself. Sorry about that.
Well, this is going to be you were on a roll, dude. That was like crazy cool stuff.
It's going to be a hybrid model. I am right now making sure out of my own pocket that I'm getting this game as polished as I can, so I can bring this to investors and people within the industry and be like, hey, listen, it doesn't just have to be Hero Quest. It could be the Hero Quest of Evernet. It could be something else. It doesn't have to be Gem Blenders. It could be, I could take other TCGs and put them in my game because they're promoting on the internet. They make content. Yep. Technically, that fits. So I want to look for some investors if possible. But no matter what, we're on track to finishing cards at a certain pace. The more funding, the quicker it goes. But if I had it my way, and this is where we're at, December of this year, you will see Kickstarter news officially launch. Whether that be it launching or keeping you tied to a newsletter so you can see the updates as we kind of progress along, whether it be starting up events or tournaments, kind of distributing sample packs to everyone, or being at different conventions. I'd love to keep you updated. So yes, there will be. It's all about a matter of time and how this kind of goes off.
Well, and just to touch on that too, you did kind of bring it up earlier, where there is so much legality with all of this too. Because of having to get the sign-offs from people and then the okays, and then well, I'm making this card about you, and then that's it, or I'm allowed to use your image in this content in perpetuity. So I'm glad that you're taking your time. You're not rushing this. You're not trying to actually just get it out to market. That also speaks volumes to me too, though, because that actually tells me how much work and passion you have for this, because you're not trying to get it out to market. You're trying to perfect it before you do it.
There was 300 hours logged on these little playing cards here, and my Steam account will show that there's over 150 plus hours on Tabletop Simulator of just running games daily. And you can catch us on live streams. If you ever see me live on TikTok, you'll probably see me either playing some form of FPS, or it's going to be Evernet challenging someone. What I think is really cool is that there are going to be periods and sessions where I have a very special card that was illustrated by a very special someone. And the goal is, if you can beat me in my game while I'm live on stream, I'll award you this card.
Is it the card? Is it the one of you that you sent me?
I only have is it the Major Nerd card?
Yes, it is.
Because there is about 5 of those. Yeah, you can totally show it. Go for it.
No,
that's the Viral Crown, which is one of the cream of the crop cards. Yeah. So if you're trying to get to 1 million views, there's no better card than a 2-turn win.
That's ridiculous, my dude.
Yeah. The kicker here is that there were only 100 versions of this card ever printed. So odds are it'll never be a tournament legal card. I can't say, use the Major Nerd card in the tournament. It'll probably not be there. But I really want, there is a secret QR code on the versions that I have printed out, and I have 5 left to my name. After that, we have a kind of like a championship belt here. It's called Achievement Unlocked, and it's kind of a cool card that lets you know that you've beaten the maker of the game at his own game. It doesn't do anything. There's no utility, but it is like a little stamp of approval that you beat me.
Wait, I showed off that again.
Good. Listen.
I wanted to bring this up too, because this is something you and I talked about last week.
Sure.
And it's one of the things that got me really excited about this too, about the whole concept, the game, the future, it moving forward, because we keep talking about all these content creators that are famous content creators, or ones that we love watching, things like that. Right. But this is also a way to immortalize if the foundation or the families or whatever are okay with it. This is a way to actually kind of like immortalize some of these content creators too. The one specifically that comes to my mind is the Comic Historian. The Comic Historian is one of my favorite like content creators that on YouTube. His stuff is I put a literal over 1,000 hours listening into his content just because of the stuff that I know about comics, the storylines that I know about comics, the complete story. All of that is stuff that I learned from his channel. And he unfortunately passed away. I think it was like 2 weeks ago.
Exactly right. Yeah.
And that's heartbreaking because like I loved his content.
They made a difference. They made an impact on how you watch and view things and learn things. And it's something that should be celebrated. Yeah.
And so I love the idea of being able to use him in a game.
Yeah.
I don't know. That might sound weird to some people, but like
no, but
I would use him in every single deck I could.
I love that.
That is how much I loved his content. And so like it's a cool idea of being able to immortalize some of these people as well too. And it's not just like 2023 forward content creators.
Yeah.
This is something you could do a blast from the past set. And you could do 2005 to 2015.
Don't be spoiling things on the street. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, I'm just I'm just kidding. All right? I know nothing. All right, it's been proven how because of my face and my jaw on the floor how much little I actually knew. I thought I knew
5 sets planned as of now. 5 sets. The intention, by the way, is not to overload the market because I don't think financially right now we're in a position where anyone can handle the amount of cards that are being printed in volume. So if I had it my way, if the sets go off without a hitch, and just because of the legalities and the process of making these cards, I want 2 sets a year, 2 main core sets. And we focus
what about card count? What do you think card count wise?
So currently for Creator Wars, we're on track for a 250 card set for the first set ever. Yeah.
How many content creators?
Over 150 as of now.
Okay, no, that is insane.
That's thousands of emails. That's thousands of responses. That's hours of just chatting and hoping that people respond and talking about whether or not they want to be a card. Luckily, a few posts that I made about it went somewhat viral with a few 100,000 views. And people started reaching out, like bigger names than I ever thought possible. People like Sniper Wolf and Thomas Sanders. It's like, wow. The reason why this works, and I don't think the reason why this could ever be done by anyone else, unless they watched us and said, I want to steal that from him, which you can. Yeah, that's right. I got copyrights.
Yeah.
Too late.
You watch yourself there, boy.
Beaten to the punch. I already bought the URL. The point is, I've had years of content creation under my belt, and I built these relationships, some with people in the card industry, some that make content just about nerdy stuff, Star Wars communities, Lego communities, video game stuff. It's all these different connections that I've made. I am blessed that I can go to them and be like, I would love to honor you in this game. And we have a good enough relationship that a lot of them have said yes. And I don't know if that'd be possible unless you started flashing tens of thousands of dollars in front of someone.
I will say this though too, in the couple years that I have known you, I have never actually heard anyone say anything ill about you. Just your personality, the way that you actually present yourself, the way that you actually talk to other people and uplift all the other people too. I mean, you're one of the fewer, and you call yourself a small content creator, but you're one of the bigger content creators, in my opinion, that actually will talk to anyone. It doesn't matter if you have 5 followers or 500,000 followers, you'll still communicate to them. And like that honestly means a lot, because like when I first reached out to you like 2 years ago just to say, hey, blah, 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 I had no expectation of you ever reaching back out and being like, yo, what's up? And you not only responded, but you basically were like ridiculously friendly too. So like I kind of actually agree with you. I can't think of anyone else that might be able to cross these bridges in order to connect the bigger ones, the more obscure ones, the smaller ones, the forgotten ones, the ones too big to contact. Like
or the ones that are too shy to even say something. The people are like, I don't feel like I'm a big enough creator to be a part of your game. I'm like, do you post pictures or videos on the internet? Do you have more than 1 follower? You could be a card. You may not have any followers, but do you support a content creator that you really enjoy? Do you enjoy watching content? We can still turn you into a card. There are supporter cards. And in fact, there's a challenge. And of course, we're trying to privately generate the funds to illustrate artwork and fund the project privately through my streams, my endeavors, etc. So we have a raffle coming up in the next few days that's going to be, like, I think it's a $5 entry for people just hanging out in stream as we play Evernet live and do more testing. And at the end of it, we have a stream dono card. So it's almost like just like a real donation in real life. It helps the content creator. It helps them out. It gives them more. So you're going to get views with this one card just by placing it. And imagine it looks like a health potion with the streamer's name, like a little mail message that's supposed to land. So we have artists that are currently pumping out stuff. Some are previously from other TCGs, and I think you already mentioned one. I haven't officially announced it, but we've already been in the Discord talking back and forth. Anyone could, know.
It was kind of unofficially announced when he showed his card.
It's true. When Demon was like, "Hey, look at this art," it's like, "Whoa!" Yeah.
You got to remember too. You're talking to the guy that came up with all the cryptid theories, so I'm used to looking at all the little things and putting stuff together real quick. So, I do want to point this out. This was kind of cool. Mike was actually saying, he said, since you have follower accounts on the cards, you could add effects if they double their following since the release of that card. Yes. And like that's a kind of cool idea for, again, we were talking about like specialty tournaments and things like that. So that's a really kind of cool idea of being like, okay, create a deck that the followers actually have at least doubled from when the card was printed.
Yeah,
or something like specific, like random rules like that. Like,
and it also creates a really cool concept of rarity, because whereas someone might just be getting their start now and has a few, 100 followers, a few thousand followers, even tens of thousands, the card acts as almost like a rookie card or like a stamp of a time and space. And if they were to go viral, if they grow as a content creator, as their community builds, that card now is almost like a blueprint of where they were, and an updated card with a new effect or something even better could be where they are now. And like,
that's cool. Yeah.
It can, like I said,
follow
the Evernet is meant to
of the creator themselves too. They aren't
almost
limited
like
just to that one card.
Because like trading cards with sports, right? They have their stats, they have what they're capable of. And I think also all reprints all the cards will always have current stats at the time of making these cards. So we're going to, like, once a year, we'll take an index of everyone's statistics, log that into the sheets and the API that we have. That'll kind of discern the information out to the separate cards, and then we have that logged in. It becomes kind of a dance of, some people might quit, some people might get canceled. How do you handle updating these cards or having these cards over time, especially if someone might change their follower count? I think.
Well, I was actually going to ask you about that, and you just brought it up. What do you have any contingency plans, or do you have any idea of what might happen if somebody does, like, for example, get canceled and you have like a card of theirs?
Yeah, I mean, so I can't, of course, predict. I can only make the best course of judgment. So there is a vetting process of who gets to be invited into the Evernet. I'm not saying that I want every part of the internet, because there's also some dark spots. There's the dark side of the internet, which could be a whole nother separate set as well.
I kind of feel like it'd have to be a parody set, though. I don't know if you could go.
You have
Halloween set. We'll leave it at that.
There's so much good. There's so much goodness. There is a ever running. The best part about Evernet is because it represents the internet. It is a limitless well of stories, information, knowledge, and education that I can pick from, create an inspiring story about, and then put it through the lens of Evernet and share that with everyone. So
we were talking about before too. I don't know how much you want to go over it, but we were talking about how you have a loose story too, as like storyline as well for it as well. Anything you want to expand on about that? Or
I don't think there's any collectible trading card game or franchise that doesn't have a story that's rooted in, I would say, positivity or camaraderie. And in this same light, I think the reason why I made Evernet about content creators was for that celebration, for that inspiration of maybe inspiring the next generation of people who want to pick up their camera and share what they love with the internet. There's a reason why we do this. There's a reason why we're on the live stream right now. It's because we love
Mhm.
card games and we love talking about them. We love talking about nerdy things. The story of Evornet takes the character 19 on their journey of what it means to leave their home and become a content creator, to collaborate with people that they never thought possible, to grow, and where their story would end up from just recording a video in their bedroom to being in front of people they never thought, or being a part of a story and an adventure that takes them on a wild ride. The best part is Evornet and the story that I want to tell will have its own independent and consistent style that'll be true to that story. But the Evornet Chronicles is the collaborations, is the amalgamation of your fan fictions, is the stories that we want to tell of the creators we love doing something epic together. So you could take your favorite content creators and put them in a story where they would be interacting, and we can tell a tale about what they're going through, their struggles, what their content is about, what they've been able to manifest in this world. And it could take on a very similar approach to how the real world is. And the story of Evornet 2 tackles some really big ideologies and topics that I think might be polarizing. One is the evolution of artificial intelligence and where we're going to end up as a society in a few hundred or thousand years. Do you think we're going to have cell phones in 100 years? 200 years? When do we all get wearable tech?
15, 20.
When do we all get wearable tech with a customizable AI with its own personality and trait that follows us wherever we go? What happens when AI might destroy industries of work and skilled practitioners and workers, and industries completely vanishing because of what AI is able to accomplish? Where does society as a whole go? And Evornet touches on that subject very intimately, because just like content creation, AI poses a threat to that. Because where are we going to be when a computer generated voice is just going to tell you all the funny things that happened, or replay a clip that it just generated out of nowhere? There needs to be a human element. And the story of Evornet touches on that very aspect, that despite it being a digital frontier, a digital land that we're all kind of dwelling in, it's the human spirit that makes this what it is, that brings us all together, that has these moments where we can laugh and cry and sit down and play a game together instead of being on our phones. Because for the first time ever, we get to celebrate and enjoy the internet with your phone down. That's a cool concept to me, right?
It's true. Yeah, that's actually true.
It's not often that you're doing something internet related where you're not on your phone or you're not tied to a screen. I really enjoyed the days where I could connect with someone because of a game that we're playing or a moment that we're having. And what better way to do that when with the content that I constantly am watching? I'm watching YouTube videos or TikTok videos or movies and things like that. I think it'd be so cool to have a way of manifesting that. And I think other companies are starting to get clever to that fact. You're seeing other collaborations with, like Lord of the Rings or a movie franchise or a one specific celebrity that's just going to be put on a pedestal. Like, look, they're part of the game now, or they have their own special collaboration card. It's like
Magic the Gathering is the really big one that sticks in my head because of
Post Malone. I think of.
They've broken into like Assassin's Creed now. Like that's the new set that's coming out.
Yeah, and that's the newest one. Yeah,
all of the, what is it? The secret cat. No, I can't remember what the name of it is. Secret something. I can't remember what the MTG thing.
Secret Layers.
Secret Layers. Yes.
Yeah.
They come out all the time, and they're always like specific, and they're bringing in like Godzilla, or like you said, Post Malone, things like that.
Exactly right.
So they're always trying to incorporate them into their Magic the Gathering universe.
And I think that's really cool. Once again, like just in that same kind of energy and spirit, I think we want to feel attracted to the franchises, the stories, and the inspirations that, make us tick, that make us wake up every morning saying, I want to watch this. I want to do this. I want to do my own thing because of what I've seen, or talk about it with someone because I watched it. Although Magic, and this is no hate or shade to them, I think we're all, there's a lot of space for everyone here. And that's what I love about the TCG industry. Whereas they focus on the companies and the games and the main, franchisees, I focus on the people. I focus on the creators that talk about them. I focus on the memes that gather the people together. I want the collaborations that come from this game to be legendary. In my head, if I had it my way right now, there are still creators that I'm trying to reach out to that have not responded to me. if I had it my way, and this is just to kind of talk about something topical, Moist Critical, Big Moist Charlie, he's a YouTuber, recently just got back into trading cards. And he's streaming to hundreds of thousands of people at a time. And I'm thinking to myself, we got you on board for Evernet. It'd be a wrap. It would be over within a few seconds of Moist talking about the game or other content creators. I mean, I think there's a lot of space for larger names to talk about it eventually, but I can't even have them do that until A, they know about it, B, we promote it. So we're in the early phases now. Once again, short term is making sure we have the artwork generated and we're doing this the right way. We're going to be transparent the whole way through. And if you want to be a part of the conversations and the town hall meetings, if you want to submit art and actually be a part of that process, you can do that. That's the coolest bit, is that there is no exclusion. There's no gate that you have to cross through. It's open door policy. Come join us. If you're submitting artwork, we can talk about compensation down the line. If you want to submit content, we'll talk about how we can promote you and hook you up with products down the line too. It's really about rewarding everyone who wants to make this.
Like I said, there's a list of cards and such like that they need the artwork modified and stuff like that. Yeah. If you're interested in doing any of that, join the Discord. They're super helpful. They'll point you in the right direction. They'll show you the actual list and everything like that. You can pick one. There's people uploading pictures that they've been working on off and on. Like I saw over the last couple of days or so. It's really picked up steam over the last week and a half, 2 weeks, I want to say. But it is something though that I have really noticed specifically in the Discord is how inclusive your mods, everybody really are. Somebody has a questions or something, they'll instantly answer it. There's one
shout out to them.
Well, there's one specific mod in your Discord, sorry, that seems to do daily almost demos of the game.
Yeah, Clove is the one that I constantly am battling and getting my butt kicked by, but I should have never taught Clove how to play this game. Clove is a savant when it comes to this and one of the most formidable opponents. I'm like, Clove, you need to do tournaments ASAP because you are seeing this with an eye that even I didn't see. You're finding combos, and this is why we're playtesting it to make sure that every possible scenario has been accounted for and that there's no breaking the game. But wow, I've been put through my paces with Clove. It's been fantastic. So if you ever want to fight Clove, just know that that's the final Elden Ring boss battle of opponents. No joke. It's going to be rough. So,
I love the idea that because of the way that you're actually vetting these cards, and when I say vetting them, I mean really going down and figuring, okay, this person makes this type of content, so these are going to be the attributes that the card actually has, or this is going to be, I guess, the family or whatever you want to call it. That's going to be the gem that they'll actually have. Right. And because of you doing your due diligence with that, I'm really interested to see if from this game you actually because you said a lot of the game is about the collaborations between the content creators that you actually play.
Absolutely.
I'm interested to actually see if that leads to actual collaborations between said content creators in real life. I'm not just thinking of this as a way for fans to connect with their favorite content creators, but also content creators to connect with other creators. People
that's why I want the first set to be creator wars, because if you think about it, what if we actually had the creators that are part of the game now being a part of a tournament where they all go head to head to see?
I was just going to say that if it was possible, if you could actually get all 150 or however many of them together in one spot.
That's the dream.
That would be the only thing is they have to include themselves in their deck.
Oh, absolutely. It has to be a deck based off of them.
Yeah, their creator kit. That's what it's called. They have to include themselves into their kit.
And I wanted two main styles of play, but it seems like we keep gravitating back to, and I hate to borrow a word from a Magic the Gathering term, but maybe it'll help you relate to it more, a commander style approach. There are no repeated cards. So you have 40 to 50 one-time cards where you build your deck with. And with over 250, there is already plenty to choose from for your first time in. You can go multicolor, you can go no color, you can go all colors, you can do whatever you want and tailor your play experience to the different styles that the different categories of content provide. Whereas entertainment is really about flashy, showy, big, extravagant things. Education is about knowledge, control, order, and art is about expression and creation. Whereas nature is about the outdoors and the self and the body. Whereas lifestyle is about the passion and the love we have for a specific thing on the internet. So with those 5 different categories, you can now start picking, well, I like movies, but I want to teach people about them. So like you can make a deck where you're educating people on your favorite movies or sharing the favorite content creators that talk about movies.
Huh.
It can be whatever you want it to be. And with the first set, as we start growing, we're going to have more niches covered, fleshing out those weird rough edges to really encompass as much as we can of the internet in a wholesome, positive way.
No, and I honestly, it hit me when you were explaining that. I kind of really like the idea of you only having the one card, like the one-time use, because it's not negating that there could be cards that would allow you to actually take something back.
Repost it. Oh yeah, repost. Oh, that happens.
Like that's what. So yeah, but even when it comes to content creation itself, if you do something and it blows up, but then you do that same thing again, you're not going to get that same result.
May not happen the same way. Exactly.
Right. And so I actually really like the idea of it's a one and done type thing, because you could hit something and it could go completely viral, but that doesn't mean the same exact. And you see it all of the time with copycat creators, if you will.
Oh yeah.
Where one person will do something and then you'll see a million different other people try the same
to do the same thing, and it may not be just as good, but it's in the same light or in the same energy or the same spirit of, whether it be because they're chasing clout or they're reaching for ambition of trying to grow their audience. Whatever.
TikTok is the best example of that, where I don't, just in case you're not familiar with TikTok, anybody watching, but if you actually go to the video, especially if it's like some sort of a filter or a game or something like that, and you go back and you actually hit the name of it, it will show you all of the videos that have used that filter, the counts, things like that. Yeah. And normally you'll always see like the top one has like, let's say 4.5 million views or whatever. Crazy. But then the one underneath it tops out at like 600K. And then the one underneath that tops out at 64K. And it's every single time. So like I like that idea of only having the one card in the deck, having the other cards that can let you get it back, but not being able to have like 15 reposts or so like in a deck. Like I like that.
How do you convert the terminology, the points, the essence of what it means to be a content creator or to post on the internet, and convert that into phrasing that would work with mechanics of a card game? So if I were to remove all of the gear, upgrades, everything that would, let's say, be an additional bonus to some content that would make it more viral than it already is, that would be considered getting canceled, right? So what if there was a situation where you can't be touched by any other creator because a creator has a spotlight on them? That kind of makes it so that all the focus and attention is on that one creator. So like there are different ways of having real life terms and phrases that happen in the content creation space take place on the homepage within the game. And those interactions,
even in that sense too, spotlight, being in the spotlight too could be a double-edged sword.
That's exactly right.
You could like literally roll a die. If it's 1 through 3, you get canceled. If it's 4 through 6, whatever X actually happens. Like, wow, there's a lot of that's something I hadn't thought of. There's probably going to be a lot of risk reward in this as well too. Where just because you put 2 creators next to it, I know. I'm theorizing right now. But just because you put 2 creators next to each other that should synergize doesn't mean that they're going to. Exactly. Because like for whatever X, Y, and Z issues, problems, it doesn't matter. Everyone's human. Like that, they might be best of friends, but something comes. I love that human aspect of it.
With the entertainment deck, which is represented by the black color, the idea of a risk reward is really big, because just in that same essence where we have copycat reposters or people who are trying to chase clout, which is an actual mechanic in the game. Not chasing clout, but the idea of clout in general is a mechanic that needs to be accounted for. Risking in the entertainment deck is going to be what makes or breaks you, because you can take a big risk and get a huge payoff, or you could go with the more consistent education deck, which is consistent views, consistent knowledge, consistent control based off of your play style, right? So once again, depending on the creator, depending on what they represent or what they do, can affect how the card plays, the balance, and because every single creator and card in the game is an influence, right? It has an additional gem at the bottom that lets you know the color of resource that you would get from it. So once per turn, you have to take one of the cards from your hand and place it down on the field. So you're losing one of the creators, but what that creator is doing is providing you influence to post content. So you not only are just taking your favorite content creators and playing them, you have to make the decisions and the resource balancing to know what combinations or what potential collaborations might provide you the best outcome, depending on what your rival is also posting. Because it's not just trying to beat them down to zero. You're in it to get the most views for yourself. But if that also means attacking your rival,
really seem like there is. I mean, there is combat.
Oh yeah,
but I want to say that's like a secondary thought almost, where it's more about defending yourself. You're defending your social circle while growing it at the same time, but trying to do it faster than your opponent.
Isn't that the internet?
Like,
Isn't that what we all do on the internet? You were
explaining this too, like the whole education idea. Yeah. Like if you actually take content creators, like you actually take, like, let's say an educational like the tier level guy, and then you actually compare him to somebody that does nothing but just open up cards. Consistently, in my opinion, I feel like if you go and look at his stats, you would see that tier would have more consistent stats across the board versus the guy that does card openings. Yes, he's going to have more views on certain videos where he hit big in those openings. But a random casual Friday opening with friends is not going to be anywhere near the level that tier would actually hit.
And that's the other thing too, is that just because maybe the kind of content that they do either generates or does not generate X amount of views or audience compared to that niche that they're in, it doesn't mean that what they can contribute to the niche or to that category of content wouldn't be beneficial to the entire space. So let's take collectors, for instance. Collectors, TCG players, they're represented in the game. We have plenty. We already have you. We have Demon Fergus. We got Robo. We got Dr. Applesauce. We got TCG Giants. We got a few amazing. Applesauce? Oh, yeah, of course we do. Come on now. So to have synergy between collectors, what would that look like? Well, it's about putting on good shows together. It's about maybe getting good content or good products together and displaying that with their audience, having a cool tournament, or, you know, like whatever collectors do as a whole represent that synergy within the cards themselves. So it's not just the focus on one particular creator to hold it all together, but it takes the entire army in order to make the effect of whatever archetype you're playing of the deck really pop off. So you're not going to get like a 2-card combo that's going to end the game. It needs to be consistent synergy with your content.
Unless you get your card.
Unless you get my card, which GG's, you win.
I do like that aspect though too, because I was actually talking to my buddy Medizu Black Market jumped in here a little bit ago. I was talking to my buddy Levi the other day, and I was telling him actually about Evernet, and specifically when it comes to you, and I touched on this a little bit before in the stream, but I love how supportive you are of everyone. How like the attitude and the mentality that I had with the Medizu community about it doesn't matter the size of whatever you do. If you post a video, you post a picture, I want to help uplift you. You do that same thing, but you do it across the board when it comes to like pretty much content creation, the community itself.
I try. I mean, if I can't be everywhere, but the people that I watch and the communities that I'm a part of, I really try and be active in them, and I try and show love and support and just give that positivity to anyone who's kind of starting that process or journey, because it can be a little disheartening at times.
One of the biggest things that I'm noticing, though, the more you explain this, the more you explain the interactions and how the cards operate with this and the different architecture or archetypes, I guess you would say, is that you, for whatever reason in this game, you don't have one content creator that is your content creator that you're trying to actually use and defend, and that's the person that you build the deck around. It is a literal community kit that you're building. Everyone needs to be able to work like with everyone in the deck. It has to be synergy in order for it to move forward. But you're using not just these cards that increase your clout, your viewership, or anything like that, but you're using these all of it. I love the entire concept.
So that's the thing. I once again, this was inspirations of solving the problem, right? There's a gap in the market. Why is there a gap in the market? It's because it's been done and it failed, or it's because it hasn't been done properly yet? I think it's the latter. I think we haven't seen a content creation game in a scope that does it to this magnitude, I should say. And that's not
the only game, indie included, that I can think of that would be content creator focused.
Yeah.
Would be maybe Lolcow, which is a small indie card game, but they predominantly seem to be more almost making fun of people than actually trying to amplify them. Not everyone, because like I don't feel like they were trying to make fun of like Nick Strength and Pokemon. With
no, I don't think
that. But some of them, like the one for Mike Waddell, 100%, they were trying to like make fun of them. And so
little digs,
that's why I consider this different, because this is, again, it's that whole idea of trying to uplift everyone in the content creator community.
Yeah.
Along with their fans, like you were saying, like there's super fans that are actually have cards in the game and things like that.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, there's so many cards already of people that are in my community that I've given specific cards to, and it's not only because of, let's say, their time spent on the project itself, but I would not have been able to make a Major Nerd card without their direct help, without their time, their resources, their love that they've got. Once again, all the love and support to the people that have put me in this place, because I would not be able to be on the stream or print cards or have these serialized play mats or run these tournaments or play tests without the amazing backbone that's the Major Nerd community. That's the mods, that's the people in general. Those are the patron followers. It's really cool.
We talked about that hat. Should be, you were saying, by December?
By December. So by Q4, end of Q4, right, end of the year, we're going to see Kickstarter news official. So you can either keep track of when it does launch or be a part of the newsletter so you know how we're updating the Kickstarter to get it ready for launch. It's either going to be at the door or very close to it. But with the money and the resources I'm generating through content creation, it does put a rigid timeline on how quickly I can get artwork accomplished. So if you want to help support me, drop by my streams. I'm live every week, almost every other day. You can drop by the TikTok or the Twitch, the YouTube, the Instagram. I'm talking about Evernet all the time. I'm posting about it on Instagram and on TikTok. So those are the two places you can find me socially. But once again, the Discord is such a fantastic community and resource that you can be a part of to kind of get firsthand experience on what the game's about, the rules, and how you can be a part of it artistically, promotional wise, content creator, or etc.
And again, you can find all those links inside of the description to the Instagram account, to the Major Nerd Instagram account, to the Discord, everything like that. Definitely recommend you joining the Discord. There's so much information on the Discord. Especially, again, I keep really talking about it, especially if you want to get involved though and you want to help out with the artwork and other stuff like that. That is your resource. That is where you should go.
And I am spoiling a card here, but just because I need to say this, if you're here, smash the like button. Yes, that is a card. Smash the like button. Oh, it is. It totally is. Once again, like internet memes and phrasing and culture, it's really relevant in this game. It needs to be topical. So there can be a newer set that has something that happened this year, right? I mean, like this is a little 18 plus. I don't want to include, let's say, overly offensive memes. I'm not trying to offend anyone or put things that are controversial. At the same time, there are some really funny memes, like brain rot memes, like look maxing and like to how to look the best as possible, like skibbity, and like so many weird terminologies that like there's a generation of audience. Like, could you imagine a glub glub gab glab card or a skibbity toilet card? Like some people would kind of go nuts for a brain rot deck. So I think there's a lot of opportunity here to have that inclusion with multiple sets over time, depending on what's happening currently in the internet space.
Can you or will you ever incorporate old vines?
Oh,
Please,
it's already,
for the love of God.
It's already happening. It's already,
thank God.
Yeah.
That's
we couldn't have Thomas Sanders be a part of the game without trying to incorporate other vines and like legendary content. But there is a specific set. So if I have it my way and Creator Wars does well and we're able to launch the second set, which we want to start process of that artwork soon, the legendary heroes would be the set number 2. That's the working title, legendary heroes. But I don't know if that's a copyrighted phrase or not, so we'll see. But it's just, once again, including more higher tier names that people might know about, but also, of course, representing the entire community with other creators you might not have heard about before, different sized audiences, different aspects of content that we want to incorporate.
So, well, I have to say, I was going to make the joke earlier when you were saying you're gonna make the smash that like button.
Smash the like button.
For some reason in my head, I had the picture of Leonhardt. So Leonhardt needs to be on that card.
Hey, if anybody has ties to anyone over at Card Party, I mean, I follow quite a few of them, but I would love to get all the Pokemon content creators. It goes into some legality issues with like what names I can have listed as a card, because can I legally use the word Pokey in my card game?
No.
If someone's username is that, but their username is that, but they can generate money off of that username, can't they?
I would say no, only because I remember when MetaZoo was doing the partner stamp cards, some of them actually had Pokey in their name, and MetaZoo was not allowed to actually stamp anything on there that actually had
with the word Pokey, right? Because if there's a word Pokey through a MetaZoo card or whatever, a Magic with the word Yu-Gi-Oh on it, those crossovers, it's big competitor no. So there are
some of them had to change the username. Some of them actually just changed the logo and just made the logo. I think
I've had instances of that already. Where I had to change the card to make it appropriate and legal to use. So there's an amazing content creator by Poke Trainer Juju, 14,000 on Instagram, 40,000 on TikTok. Makes amazing gaming videos, Roblox, Pokemon, and Squishmallow collector. So I have them holding a Squishmallow, but it doesn't look like a Squishmallow. It just looks like a big plushy frog, and their name is Juju. So I took the Poke Trainer out of it, but I still have the link that takes them to their socials, which will say the real name, but it's the closest I can get to representing them while showing their interest without crossing lines, which
still keeping it real and relevant, but keeping it legality wise under the table.
Because someone can be like Naruto fan 3956. How do I make that into a card? If let's say they win a support contest where they become a card.
You just use the NF whatever the number is.
That, or I'm like, hey, it's time to change the username. It's time to go. Like, what's your name? Today we're doing
the dreaded Xbox username.
You know what I mean? Because like there is that discussion of who am I targeting this for? Who is this? Like, who's the demographic? And I want it to be as young as 16, 17, 15 if possible, even younger. But there also needs to be a realization that the internet is not just PG-13. There are adult themes on there. Would there ever be a separate set that I would have to advertise where it's the spicy set, so to speak, right? Where people who might be a model who, is very prolific in their career, what they've achieved through their media posts, they should have equally just as every right as a gaming creator to, have a appropriate looking card that links them out to their profile. No matter what they do. It's only if we get into the realm of doing something, one, that would get you in legal hot water, and two, if you've been canceled on the internet for something that was egregious and polarizing to the point where, it hurts the investors. Of course, we want to be the best shining example of what the internet should be, and that also means taking accountability if someone who we're representing in our game may cross a line. So if that were to ever happen, we can't remove the card out of every booster pack, but we can make sure that they're not tournament allowed. We can make sure that we never print their card again and they're removed from all publications. We can make sure that they've been barred from playing in tournaments and being a part of any exclusive events. So there are parameters and contingencies for who we choose, what cards are put in, the names that we're choosing. It's
well, you can even use the social media terms too, like canceled and things like that.
Oh yeah,
especially on like official I can imagine you having like a big old list of all the cards showing the cards or something, and then somebody does something stupid, like don't be dumb, but they do something stupid, and you literally have a big old X with a canceled written across it or something like that. Where, I mean, I don't know, that's actually kind of that's a super smart move on that.
And it's just to protect ourselves as well as the creators, right? Because I don't want to do anything that then looks bad for another creator. I have to be on point, because if I'm to be the representation for these creators, it needs to go both ways. I need to be someone who's not doing anything polarizing, keeping my head down, but also being as appropriate as I can be, so that I can have the door open for these content creators to come
You don't want to instigate anything, but you still want to be able to stand by your morals and like
absolutely,
what you actually feel is right. So you will speak your mind on those things, but it's not. I mean, that's kind of like where I am, to be honest with you. I used to be very, very, very political back in like 2016, 20 to 2018. And then I just finally kind of hit the point where I was like, I'll have conversations, but it's not worth me actually getting as vocal as I was, because at the end of the day, I'm not changing anybody's mind going back and forth with them. So instead, I'd rather try to create a dialogue to be able to actually maybe get to know them a little bit, because if I do that, maybe then I'll be able to find a way to get an in to show them exactly what I'm trying to convey to them.
Yeah, that's a really cool point you bring up too, is not to pivot or anything like that, but the idea that I would lean one way or another in how I would represent the internet, I don't see it that way at all. In fact, I can say without a shadow of a doubt, I am as bipartisan as it comes. I personally, not to say that I don't care, but I personally know that I know very little about a world complex issue that might not require my opinion. And I would rather create the dialogue of something we actually can work on together and inspire, positive changes as opposed to arguments. So who we're having represented in this game is going to span a very long and wide list of, different kinds of people, different nationalities, different niches of content, just all different kinds of backgrounds. And
like we were talking about before, about how like some of these content creators might never have actually collaborated with some of the ones that potentially would be synergistic in the game.
Oh yeah.
Everyone, regardless, like you said, regardless of nationality or age, or everybody has their own opinions. Mm-hmm. And so you're going to have people and content creators that are left, right, center, everywhere, all across in the full circle. And the idea of being able to maybe get them to start dialogue between themselves even is huge, because that could help repair some of the division, specifically in America. That could help repair some of the division and allow people to talk again.
Yeah.
People to actually,
or maybe just play a game and enjoy like all the different kinds of creators that we like, regardless of their opinions. We're just sitting down and having a good time about it. And I think that's been one of the big driving factors, is the celebration of the internet in a way that isn't exclusive to anybody at all. It's fully inclusive to whoever you might be and what you like.
Well, the ability that this actually has to create dialogue between different parties is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Not just between the creators, but the fans themselves, the people actually playing the game, like
the moral lessons, the ships that might be created because of certain, team ups and rivalries that occur between the card game. I mean, we have so many different content creators, but like I would love to see two people on two polar opposite ends of content kind of come together and battle it out in an online tournament.
Well, because again, you're also like, I'm making this, I keep making this point, you're not like fighting with them, trying to reduce their hit points to 0 and KO them or anything like that. I mean, yes, you are competing to get more clout than them. You're trying to go viral quicker than they are.
And there are ways of detracting from their views, but that's not the main goal. Like that's just a tool in the tool belt of how to achieve the goal.
There's confrontation without combat, if that makes sense. That's the gist that I feel like I'm actually getting. And that
once again, there is unique. Yeah, there is combat, but once again, you don't have to win the game. You can win the game without ever landing an attack. You don't have to attack once to win the game. And that, in fact, has been done multiple times, because once again, if you care about preservation and how your content goes out, as opposed to looking at what they're doing, and this can be up to 2 to 4 players. So you can have 3 other rivals on the board that you're trying to gauge how quickly they're moving with their content strategy, or their marketing tips, or how they're using, which, by the way, this is something that's really cool. I haven't brought that up yet, but the whole idea about AI and the story of Evernet is that we all have AI companions in the future. Someone that essentially helps us kind of get through our daily lives, whether it be monotonous tasks, chores, information, whatever that case is. But also the device that we use to display the AI is the same device that we use to play Evernet in the game. They're emitters, right? Because just like a hologram where you'd see the AI, we can now play the game and have it shown on a stream in front of people in 3D render. And I think how that technology would manifest or evolve was how I thought about it in game. Like, it's all going to be wearable tech. If it's not a dual disc, I don't want to hear it. I was about to say, it's not a dual disc. Listen, This is a watch, right? But
I'd
if I
wear
put
one.
a
I don't know what you're
hologram,
talking about, man. I'd
yeah,
wear one.
yeah, that's what I mean. So like, and the cool part is it doesn't have to be just a watch. It could be a band. It could be an earring. Because in the future, fashionable technology and different forms of tech, it's not just a smartwatch. It's not just a cell phone. There's tablets, there's laptops, there's computers. Depending on your style, your personality, what you do as a creator, or how you prioritize your life could be how your emitter changes based on your personality. So with all
I mean,
the
legit, even
amazing
a hat that just comes out right and projects it right in front of you.
so many
Yeah.
cool things. So so if you're picturing the graphic story of Evernet, you're going to see so many original characters where their personality is not just shown in their style, but the AI partner and companion that they have, which are called luminaries. They light the way for you. Your AI lights the way, guides your path. The luminary is a representation of you and their own personality because they are technically sentient. But why that's the case, the whole point of the system of why creators are battling each other and the stories that are told are all a few secrets that I'm going to keep a little close to the belt for now because there's so much more to come. And I seriously, I cannot wait to tell the people that we have involved and like the cool collaborations that are in store, but baby steps. And I don't want to promise anything that I can't deliver on right now. So everything that you guys know as of now is happening or has happened already. And everything that's in the future is stuff that I cannot wait to share. So it's very cool.
Do you have any plans on going to any cons or anything later in the year?
Yeah, so I don't think I'm going to have a table at the New Jersey Collecticon, but I will absolutely be there, and I will have 2 play decks, and I will have a few tournament special cards. And if you want to learn how to play the game, I'll be there walking around. If you just want to get a free sample promo from me for Collecticon exclusives, I'm there for that too. If you want to take a picture, hang out, make a TikTok video together, whatever the case is, I'll be at New Jersey Con, and I'll be at New York Comic Con later this year for their content creator program. I applied for that. And, ooh,
nice.
We're going.
That's awesome.
So, should be great. Yeah.
Well, dude, I'm blown away, to be honest with you.
First of all, this has been a fun phone call. Every single time I tell someone who, like, if you've never heard about Evernet before, if you don't know the premise, and if you give me 30 minutes of your time, you walk away like feeling excited about the idea of it. And I think that's the coolest part, is that I know inherently that the love and the amount of work and the time that our team has spent on this, it's going to pay off. It's going to like it's already generated a community that, in my opinion, exceeds my expectations. I'm so happy with the people that we have here, and I just can't wait that we can share it with even more and get Evernet in the hands of fans and creators alike. I
love how many different, I guess, what's the word, levels, I guess you would say there are to it, or layers almost.
Yeah.
To where real world can affect the game itself, but then there's so many different layers to it.
I think there's some inspiration to be taken from a previous trading card game about the idea of an effect that breaks the fourth wall based on real life statistics. Like, could you imagine, based on the number of followers you have or the kind of content you make or merch that you're wearing of a special creator that you might like, that it might give you a buff, or that it might influence
give you a multiplier,
how those cards interact with others. Yeah. But you see, like, there's so much room for the collaboration, the integration of cool concepts and themes, that it just once again becomes this melting pot that I don't want to take ownership for. I made the game, I made the system, and now we're going to watch the Evernet unfold as it's intended to. That's the best part, is that it's not like me sitting back. There's going to be a lot of hard work, but essentially I'm going off of the vibe and the feeling of the internet. What creators are going viral? What content is going viral right now? What feels like the most important pieces of internet content that I want to share with an audience? And to do that in a way that's not only fun, but engaging and interactive with cards that you're playing against someone. It's just like, it's the coolest thing on the planet. It really is.
So, and I just thought of this. Did you get the name Evernet because things on the net are forever?
Oh, you nailed it. You nailed it.
No way.
You nailed it. The Evernet, forever.
Yeah.
Everything that's on the internet, forever.
It just hit me for some reason. I was like, oh my God,
Evernet.
wow.
Yeah. So I'll give you a little backdrop of the story. So this way, I told you guys about 19, but 19 is a content creator on this path in their journey, the story of Evernet, why this world and this universe even exists, it's because of the Ever, an all-knowing, omnipotent AI that was created to solve the world's problems, right? Because if we're all leading towards an AI world, essentially, we're kind of leading in this direction. This is going to almost be like a warning tale of what would happen.
The singularity is real and it is coming. Like, I don't care.
What happens if the singularity occurs? Forget monopolies. Forget monopolies. Monopoly. The big thing. What if an AI was able to conglomerate all the major corporations on the planet, all the power infrastructures, all the government, all the wars, all orchestrated by one omnipotent AI? What does that situation look like? Is it actually the AI that's doing the work, or is it, let's say, the moderation that's taking care of everything behind the scenes? Is it the creators that are falling into a system where they're making content to pump a system that's just stealing their very humanity from them? And what can 19 do to restore inspiration of why people make content in the first place? All the different AI companions and the personalization, the different stories, and the endless well of inspiration that we can share with others because of the content that's already exists, is what the Evernet Chronicles and the main story will be about. So,
okay, no, that's wow. That got deep real quick. I see what you were talking about too, about how you said the storyline really incorporated real world issues too. Like that. Yeah. Wow.
It's a serious thing, because like, where are we going to be as content creators? Are we all going to be watching Skibbity Toilet, not caring about things that are happening, or are we going to be trying to educate and inspire people to do the right thing, be a good person, care about something other than themselves and the rat race that is maybe generating views or gaining clout?
And that's why you broke everything up into the different archetypes too, because you have those people who are trying to either just post content for monetary gain, or they're trying to actually educate, they're trying to entertain, they're trying.
And every category of content has that spectrum where someone could be on the end of just for themselves or completely for the community, and where they land on that determines on what they do, how they interact with the community, etc. And once again, that system of how to convert a creator, no matter where they are on that list or that spectrum, into a card is like the proprietary secret sauce. There's a list of questions, there's ideals that I ask you about, and what inspires them, and what other creators would they watch, or who would they collaborate if they wanted to, and why, right? Like there's a lot of questionnaires that go into how we can incorporate and juxtapose their image into a game about the internet.
No, that's wow, dude. That's a lot. That was a lot. That is genius. I'm honestly gonna have to go back and rewatch this just to make sure I didn't miss anything, because the idea is so simple but intricate at the same time. Like the way that it, again, I said it just a little bit ago, how it encompasses real life aspects, but into the idea of like bringing, like the whole AI thing too is brilliant in my opinion, because that is where we are kind of headed. When it
affects art, it affects creators, it affects every aspect of what we do in an online presence.
Yeah.
So that's in a cautionary tale. This is what happens when we push it too far as a society and a civilization.
You could even have like an AI replicant card make a copy of a content creator. Oh my God.
So like I said, how there was only singles of every card that you can have per deck. And it's more of a community base where it's all about the creators that you have. You still have your own personal AI companion. And they might act in a more of a commanding type that provides you aid. They don't attack. They're just a hologram. But what their effect does and their personality might have a very real impact on how the creators on the field interact with each other. And
I was going to say later
AI
you can actually have it where the AI is darker too, in like so like I don't want to say evil, but like oh wow, yeah.
And there's a lot of cool character creation that comes from this too, and that's why we have a few art competitions soon of designing your own AI companion that's going to be used in the Evernet story. So if you're an artist or if you like designing characters, if you are someone that might be inclined to create an image in your head and you want that to be your best friend, we can do that. And the point is that like that's okay, because an AI can be anything. It could be a ball of light, it can be a shoe with eyes. It's just about what represents you. And there becomes the endless pool of creatures or monsters that we can kind of create. So there's a lot of opportunity for character creation and new little baddies or cuties that you can see kind of throughout the set, and you will.
Well, even that idea too, though, I mean, that is, I would feel, is based in real life too, because as we actually get closer to making AI more readily available to everybody, I mean, think of it like 15 years ago and how most things in the kitchen weren't smart devices, and now you can have a literal complete smart house. So why would you limit an AI to just a phone or just a watch or glasses? Or an
It'd be a
earbud?
fully integrated thing. The only time you would actually be wearing your wearable is if you're out and about, is if you're in the world and you want it, carried along with you. It could be a bag, a hat, a shoe, a belt. It could be a wand. It could be any sort of physical item that you use to style yourself and represent yourself. And that was another aspect, is that, like, I don't see one kind of thing. Like, a lot of people have iPhones, but a lot of people have Androids. A lot of people, have flip phones. It's a spectrum once again. So in the same aspect, you might see a mainstream group of people, or like the mass in Evernet and how they play, or what's the most accessible emitter, it's called, to emit their AI for their luminary. And then you might see the more personalized people that buy offhand emitters that are, it could be an old used handbag that has the gem inside that displays the hologram. There are so many cool stories and ways of,
and that would dictate how certain cards interact with other cards, how certain collaborations actually,
because their personality, right?
Yeah, wow.
There's a great little AI that's created.
That's super cool.
We have a janitor AI that's really meant in the story. He like runs the elevators. He's like your little companion as you walk through a few different buildings within the story. And he just looks like a janitor with like a mustache and stuff, but he cleans messes up, right? So what would a janitor AI look like in a game, right? Does he clean up your mess? Does he help keep things spotless? Or, like, what does that incorporate? But also, what does a fire AI look like? Someone who's very passionate and their AI looks like a fireball. Like, once again, these are questions and vision boards that we've been kind of laying out for a while now to nail the look of not just what we want the AI to be styled like, but also what they do in game, because it's all that balance of the story we want to tell and the game that we want to represent it. And just like Digimon or Yu-Gi-Oh or Pokemon, there needs to be a cohesion with not just the cards that you're looking at, but knowing that this is tied to an actual story that we can refer back to.
Exactly.
Dude, thank you so much for all of this. Seriously, to even talk about Evernet for this long is, of course, like a dream of mine. I can talk about this for days on end, because it is, once again, an endless well of topic of discussion, whether that be the Blender videos that I'm having created for quick start tutorial guides, or the kind of new card backs that we're generating for special holiday sets or themed sets that aren't tournament exclusive, but maybe rare in their exclusivity or their print run, so to speak. Being mindful of that, being mindful of how much product we're printing, not selling anything until we have the product. These are all things that we're actively doing right now. And once again, to anyone who's listening, if you want to know more about it, you know where to find me, and it would be awesome to have you there.
Like I said, all of the links to his Discord, or sorry, to the Evernet Discord, to the Major Nerd Instagram, to the Evernet Instagram, all of that is inside of the description. Definitely join. Definitely actually check this out. We had talked before about this. There's no, like, we never went this far depth into it. Like, we never. Like, and I'm actually, for once, kind of speechless. I don't really know what to say, just because of the concept is unbelievable. The growth potential for it is
exponential.
It's endless.
Yeah.
And it is one of those few games where I feel like anyone, it doesn't matter your age, doesn't matter your background, anyone can actually not only learn the game, but have fun playing it with some of their favorite content creators. The idea of having the QR code on the back that allows people to find new content creators, to find like that they love audiobooks. Boom, here's a content creator that does nothing but just read books on their channel.
And we have big name celebrities, small name actors, and everywhere in between. People who have made maybe one or two posts in their entire life, but have avidly supported some of their favorite creators to people that have been posting for tens of years but have never saw more than 1,000 followers. It's not about, once again, the number. It's about what you represent, what you bring to the table. And I think there's a lot of amazing value that so many creators have to offer, and they may not even realize it yet. Especially the game like this.
I was saying that at the beginning. There are some creators who have under 500 subs who make content on par with people who have 25 million. And this actually helps them get more exposure, but at the same time, it also keeps it true to the content that they make. Like, there are plenty of ways, if you're a smaller channel, to do things in order to get more views, more likes, more interaction, more traffic.
Yeah.
And not all of those are things that you honestly should do, but like, this is a way to honor some of those people who, again, they're not making content to get rich. They're making content because they enjoy
for the love of it. Yeah,
they enjoy
that's my favorite stuff
around them. And like, this is an amazing way to be able to honor some of those people. The more you talk about it, the more I'm excited. And I honestly, I have not had a chance now to actually watch Clover just smash you completely.
It's fun. It's fun. I
I'm gonna
rage.
have to watch the next time you Clover play. I'm gonna have to watch just so
please do.
Because the collaboration idea too, just in the game and the outside world as well.
Yeah.
Like, the ability of being able to take and make specific rules or specific criteria for like tournaments or things like that. Like, that alone is endless. Like, there's so much potential with it. And then, like you were talking about with the artwork as well too, how you want the main story to be one specific art type,
right?
But the cards, you kind of leave that up to the actual creator themselves or the artist themselves or anything like that. Like, I asked every creator, here's the list of the 7 to 10 artists that I've been statistically reusing over and over that are part of the Evernet full time, and if there's a style that you want to be seen as, choose them. But if there's another artist that you want to work with, send them my way. Just tell me what style you want and we'll do that. Because there's from watercolor to oil paint to 3D renders to physical photos and scans to claymation, like, in there.
Like, absolutely there is. There's terracotta, there's clay making, there's ink wells and all sorts. I say the Lorcana term there, but an ink well, for like drawing and stuff. All these different phrases and mediums and terms for artistic expression are represented in Evernet, so that this way no one feels pigeonholed to be like, well, I don't like this artwork. Well, that's okay. You may not like all the artwork on the internet, but there is something in there for you that you might gravitate towards. And if you don't like one artwork of one particular creator, that's okay, because that's just the first card of them. There's going to be other iterations down the line when we do an update of their stats, of what they do, of where they are, or if they're even there anymore. Who knows? Yep. So you got to get Fit MC on this, and you got to get them to actually do a Minecraft style card. Oh, yeah. No, there's a few some sort of block-related cards. Reference to 2B2T too, like. Oh my goodness, I would love that. And there are a few block-related cards, but I could never say the words Minecraft in the same sentence. Yeah. My game. So like and then block party, right? It's like what copyright phrase can I not say? But there are some block game themed cards that I'm super excited to share with you guys. So that's awesome. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I'm speechless, dude. I don't know what else to ask you. What do you have for a closing statement for our wonderful audience? Evernet's first set, Creator Wars, hopefully releases through a Kickstarter at the end of 2024. With cards and creators, upgrades, hacks, and viruses, you can command your favorite content creators from across the internet and go head-to-head to see who can go viral first. I would love for you to be a part of it. If this is something that interests you, drop me a line. And just thanks for the opportunity today. Turmentic, this was absolutely fantastic. Seriously, it was very cool to hang out and chat with you. I feel honored that you joined me for the first inaugural Let's Talk, the rebranding, the revisioning of the show. I'm enjoying it so far. Now or later, they actually have like a TCG or a video game or anything like that they would actually like to come on and talk about. If you have a channel that you actually do content, things like that, reach out to me at turmentic@gmail.com.
This entire show, if I keep doing it, is going to be just basically just trying to highlight different people, different things, just trying to actually get some awareness out there.
I love that.
And again, my guy, thank you for coming on and doing this. I know you haven't really done, I don't think, any sort of like sit down interview really kind of about Evornet.
No, so I've done one little podcast with Demon Fergus, and we are going to be doing the Diabolical Scholars. With that podcast is coming back on his channel, so make sure you check that out. But I do have one rendition of the Diabolical Scholars where we first talk about, and this was during the heyday when Medicine was just closing shop, and we were talking about the news, what we had heard, what the intentions of my game was. So if you want to check that out on my channel, you can do that. But make sure you, of course, follow me, Turmentic, Demon Fergus, if you want to see anything Evernet related, because that's the only place it's been as of now.
And again, I have all of his socials in the description of the video, so definitely go down in there, give him a follow, join the Discord, get caught up to speed. Watch Clover apparently just obliterate him in Tabletop Simulator. Yeah, huge shout out, by the way, to your mods actually in your Discord again. Seriously. They're top notch. If you have any sort of questions or anything like that, suggestions, they're there to actually help you. Again, if you want to get involved with any of the artwork, or if you want to play test stuff or anything like that as well too, join the Discord. I do know that I think there is an NDA right now for play testing.
A little bit just for play testing, because we're going to be actively talking about things that aren't released and things that should be released and how that affects the current play test. So just sign it so this way we can play without worries.
But if you're interested in actually helping out with any of the artwork, if any sort of ideas or anything like that too, Eric is one of the easiest people to talk to. Like I said, I was small little tiny Let Tim creator, and he immediately reached back out to me. So yeah, like I said, join the Discord, get involved, stay up to date. Find him at New Jersey Comic Collecticon.
Yes,
you're gonna have some of those cards out there. And then you said the other one you're going to be at this year is going to be New York Comic Con as well?
New York Comic Con. So those are definitely two conventions that I will be at. There's a few others that I'm supposed to be scheduled to go to, but with the way that Evernet's kind of kicking up and getting more traction, I'm putting everything on halt. I'm going to be in the treasure trove working on this day and night. The sleepless nights will be worth it, hopefully, very soon.
Nice.
It already is worth it, but
Well, what I'll do too is as we get closer to the Kickstarter as well too, I'll bring you back on. That way you can talk about it.
Totally.
Talk about some of the updates, the changes, stuff like that you've done. You can reveal some of the cards if you'd like to, other things like that. We'll try to hype up the Kickstarter a little bit.
Before I go, then go on.
He's so mysterious.
Currently, we have some really amazing cards here. I want to share them off before I get going. You saw me in my little shorts there. Don't tell anyone. These are one of ones. These are the first ever metal printed Evernet cards, and there was only one of about 5 or 6 of the current list that we have as of right now. These are going to be, some are available, some are going to be available up for auction within the next few weeks. Others will just be given away. So they are serialized. They're only one of one, so you're not getting any copies of this. Some are creators like our favorite Lemon Teeth, who's an amazing animator. Some are cards that were illustrated by some fantastic content creators like Megan Rose Ruiz, and others were designed by me and other artists like Gem Arts V. So some really cool stuff. Some of it's going to be signed. We got a 101 playmat back here as well of the original Major Nerd artwork. So yeah, some cool events as we kind of slowly build hype and get everyone else on board. So, yeah.
That's super awesome. But yeah, like I said before, definitely go and check out all of the different socials in the description. Follow him on Instagram. Follow Evernet on Instagram. Definitely join the Discord. Get involved. If you're a content creator, reach out to him. If you want to help out playtesting or do any sort of artwork or anything like that, reach out on the Discord as well too. I pretty much share everything that you post when it comes to Evernet as well. So definitely make sure to follow me on Instagram.
Thank you.
And I know Demon Fergus, he's the other really big one right now too, that's actually sharing everything.
Everything that I've talked about Evernet, Demon has been an absolute saint. We're doing that. So yeah, totally cool. I'm blessed to have everybody's help on this. Like, once again, it's not just the mods, but it's the entire community that's kind of helped make this happen, because there are people that watch me on streams that have supported me time and time again that have helped make these cards even possible. So it's fantastic what we're growing and what we're building here. It's really awesome.
And if you run into anybody that has any questions or anything like that too as well, direct them actually to the video. That's one of the reasons I wanted to do this live stream, so that there was as much information about Evernet that we have right now, especially from the source himself.
This is the exclusive.
It's all right here. So, like I said, I'm going to have to go back and actually rewatch this just because I know that there are key details that I missed just because of how intricate and layers. It makes me think of Shrek and the onion.
Yeah,
and the
it's like an onion. Ogres have layers.
There's just so many layers to this that just can be built upon.
We could spend an hour on each individual aspect, and there's like 50 aspects that we can dive into. Honestly, it could be a compendium of info. So
that is crazy. I love how much thought you put into this, especially how individualized you make the cards based off the content that they make and how those react basically in the context of the game.
Yeah.
Based off the type of content that they actually make in the real world. Like that. Like I said,
labor of love.
It's awesome.
That was before I even let anyone know about the product. That was a year and a half of just working on this for just, once again, the labor of love, the passion I had for the idea. Like when I had that epiphany, I cried when I woke up from that dream. I was like, because I immediately saw the potential. I saw the path and the journey that it could take if we do this the right way, and whatever the price of success is for this, I'll pay it. You know, I've already sacrificed a lot in order to get this done, and I'll continue to do so until it becomes a nationwide hit, worldwide.
I love it. Well, and the beauty of this too is that, like, in reality, I mean, of course you'll have other direct competitors because of TCGs in general.
Yeah.
But there's nothing like this that I can see being a direct competitor for it as well too. And
the most you ever see is a TCG. Like the most you'll ever see is when a TCG is starting to get off the ground, and when they're trying to promote it, they will go to a content creator and offer them their own card. Sometimes they have to pay for it, and other times it's just a gift or as a way of, you know, getting more information out the door.
Yep.
But it's only that one or those few select creators that are, you know, idolized because of, you know, their fantastic fan base and what they talk about, but because they feel like that's the best source of advertising their game. And I don't think that just choosing large creators or just cherry picking ones that are within certain niches should be the standard. It should be, you know, once again, the overall blanket of, doesn't matter if you're big or small. Do you make content? Do you love doing it? All right.
Well, at the same time, it's the ease of access, I guess, for people to be able to discover new creators, because the QR code on the back, my guy, that's huge.
Yeah.
And you don't have to do that. And that doesn't really add any aspect really to the gameplay itself.
Right.
That is more of a courtesy, in my opinion, to the creator and to the person who's actually buying the product.
Exactly right.
Like it's all it is a courtesy to them. You're trying to inspire and connect them with more people, more creators that they might like. And that, like I said, is genius. I can't think of anything else that really does anything like that. It's just genius.
It's going to be a long time before we see the fully, you know, polished wheel turn, right? But now that we have the foundation set, the team has been established to a large degree, and we're building out the team even more, which you could be a part of. It's just giving us more assurance, reassurance, and confidence that we can start making this content and talking about it more, and just build that community, and just have people equally as excited about the different layers and notions about what Evernet could represent for them, for us, for storytelling, for trading cards in general. Like, this could be a cataclysmic shift in trading cards. And I fully believe it will, because once again, if sports cards can bring in $2.2 billion based off sports teams and athletes that are appreciated, what on earth, if you take the hundreds of millions of followers that are added up, once you take all the creators in my game and put them together, what is the actual buyer base? What are the people of, like, devoted fans that would want to have a piece of their favorite content creator in their hand, in their collection? You know, it can span to the collectors, the gamers, the fans, the supporters. There's a little bit of everything for everyone, whether it's the art, the gameplay, the creators themselves, the mechanics. You're going to get something out of this that you're going to enjoy, because it's Evernet, because of what it is.
All right, I'm going to leave it at that, because that was the best way to end a summation.
I think so.
For sure. Oh, wow. Okay, so again, my name is Turmentic. Thank you again, Eric, the Major Nerd, for
Of
coming
course.
on,
My pleasure, man.
talking to us
Anytime.
about your new game, Evernet. Definitely make sure, like I said, to join the Discord, follow them on Instagram. I even have his YouTube on there. I think I'm not sure if I have your YouTube link on there, but follow him on all the different platforms.
Very cool.
He makes hilarious content, not even counting, not talking about the Evernet stuff. And if
The
you've
random
never actually
videos.
seen his video of the gloobity glop, go and find it because it is amazing. I might
Oh my
actually even
goodness.
go after we're done, find that link and put it in the description too. You know what I'm going to? I'll do that later tonight because
All right.
it's amazing.
You get to see where I got my humble origins from.
All right, my dude.
Dude,
Well,
thank you again.
You are amazing. Thank you so
You
much
too.
for actually jumping on here with me. Like I said,
Anytime,
we'll have
once
to do
again.
this again.
My pleasure, for
Closer
sure.
to the Kickstarter. And I cannot wait to see what the future of Evernet actually is. I cannot wait.
Man. The future is bright. For the ever, my friend. For the ever.
For the ever, bug guy. All right. Well, I'll see you all later. Thank you all again for coming in here and checking everything out. And until next time, I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful night.
Bye.